Man, are we live? Did this thing...
With MakingStarWars.net.
Technical difficulties.
Just say something. Just
Something.
Can you hear me, Rob?
I can hear you. I can hear
Yeah.
you.
No, like fucking. It's just too fucking hot in the world. There's just nothing I can do about it. On my way to school today, my phone overheated.
Oh no. Oh no. What a... And now he cut out. Oh, you muted. You're muted. It shows you're muted now. Unmuted?
So I just heard the theme song to the show play. I told to play about a minute ago. So, anyways, on the way to school, my phone overheated, my Roku overheated, and now the computer's just slow because it's fucking hot. You got to put me on the right side if you care. I can't. I hear the theme song again. I love Republicans. They tell the truth. Global warming's not real. Everything's gonna be okay. Yeah. All right. I can't even fucking talk about Star Wars, let alone. All right, here we go. We're all gonna die soon, anyways. We won't. We're gonna starve to death. Even my fat face. All right. So we just watched. I'm gonna freaking kill this computer in a second if it doesn't stop playing the theme song. Okay.
You made it, Jason. Now you know what it's like for our fans, right?
To play one time at the start of the show. That's it. I even made a second song so it doesn't play twice.
In your head.
Anyways,
won't go away.
We just watched Star Wars Ahsoka, the third episode, and I thought it was pretty good. It was just, you know, I don't know if I'd say like wall-to-wall action. That might be a little heavy-handed, but you know, it was they did a retelling of the gun report sequence from A New Hope in their own way, and not as good, but still pretty fun. Yeah. And then they did the mini spacewalk bit from the Clone Wars, also not as good, but like as somebody in the chat said, impressive for Disney Plus. A little bit like, I'm glad it happened, and I was like, oh cool, they're going there. That was cool. But then also like, I was kind of like, keep going. Oh, okay, that's it. So, but that's where I guess the Disney Plus part comes in. We saw.
Well, to be fair, when Steph Green directed Boba Fett episode 2, I was telling you the stunt coordinator was the Marvel guy who did the the Winter Soldier elevator scene. You know, and I'm like, that's where that intensity of the train ride comes from, because second AD usually does action and shit. So like that was where I was like, could have used the Marvel guy right there.
Yeah,
you know, it's fine, but you know what I mean. It's not like, oh my god. It's like, all right, that's cool, but yeah, because it could have used that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they are talking about and contending with the whole thing that like Sabine is a shit Jedi candidate, but also what Ahsoka sees in it. You know what I mean? For the galaxy or whatever. And that kind of stuff, you know, it's at least it's interesting. It's something that hasn't happened before. We haven't seen the worst Jedi ever yet. That's not the thing we always get is the Force, what? And then they're just like lifting rocks and shit a couple minutes later. And it's always sort of, it's awarded very easily. It's kind of interesting that, you know, we're seeing it where that's not necessarily going that way. I'm sure all of a sudden she'll be lifting rocks. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, but I you know, like I was pleasantly surprised by the episode. It didn't really have had a very fluid structure to it, but it kind of went where I think like it needed to go. And that was nice.
Well, the line that I liked was when Hera told Homeboy, just sat the war out, huh? What did he say? Yeah. Came out on top. I was like, yeah, that's a good one.
And
That's a
not
good
that
one.
you care, but Star Wars Santa is going, that's Kaz's dad from Star Wars Resistance, and he was
Give two
doing
shits
this.
less.
Yeah, but Kaz's dad is an asshole. He's a stupid asshole, and he was a stupid asshole
Hux's
there.
dad. I don't get all into that.
Yeah.
I'm unimpressed with the kid who's playing the kid.
Oh, come on. He's
You
just a
know,
fucking kid. He goes,
sorry.
I want to be a Jedi.
Smack
There's
him. I
nothing
hate him.
to it.
Smack him.
Nah,
You're supposed to have a
you
killer
can't do
droid.
that.
Can you just smack the kid around?
Listen. Not everybody can be Kidster, Rob. Okay.
Stupid dark green hair. You know.
No, it looked
Kidster
good.
and BMO, two best kids in the Star Wars universe.
It looked better than it looked in the cartoon. In the cartoon, he looked like the fat kid, little boy from the opening of Jurassic Park, but with green hair.
And
that's what it looked like to me. And yeah,
I just found out the kid who played Francis in Pee-wee's Big Adventure was supposed to originally be Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Learned that.
It's a fun fact.
But yeah, no, like I said, I like the episode, man. I'm not. So here's the Filoni in me, right? The little Filonius is watching it, and I'm just seeing Sabine get, she's getting her ass kicked on the floor over. She's, they're on that floor training for probably an hour or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
Butts on the floor, and then later on, the floor rises and they eat off it, right? Like,
those fucking chicks are
like.
Remember what she said in Clerks 2? You always do ass to mouth. That's their style, dude.
You gotta wipe the floor down before you eat off it, man. Like, that's just so un-Japanese. They're wearing shoes in there. Like,
no, this is space Japanese, dude. They're fucking filthy over there. Space
Japan,
they eat off the floor. They sleep on the table.
Like, for real. Like, I'm like, why don't you just on that floor, just do everything on that floor, I guess. Like, yeah, like, all right, man. It's interesting. I don't know, whatever. But
I always feel like
I'm confused
Marrok looks awkward all the time. Like, what do I do with myself? Sorry.
Well, you can't blame someone trying to act under a hood ornament, right? They all look like Sauron.
No, just
right?
stand still. Just fucking stand still. That's all you got to do.
I like the BG fighters. The fighters are based off the BG racer. That's the one Cliff Secord races in the Rocketeer, right?
Mm-hmm.
With those like 2B fronts, So
Yeah.
I like that. I'm confused by like what Ahsoka's supposed to be now. Like she's talking like a Jedi Master, but I'm like, she keeps telling the kid, "You'll figure it out." You just told her she can't figure it out, but she just fucking. I don't know. There was some, like, you got the sense that Obi-Wan, Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan was like wanting Luke to learn stuff, right? I'm like, did she want her to learn something, or did she want her to figure? I don't know. Like, almost like this is weird. I don't know what
I had the impression that they've already gone over this. That was my impression. She wasn't telling her anything new, and it's just that fucking bitch won't listen, and she still isn't. And then Hyung gets in her head, starts telling her she's the worst Jedi ever, and then once again she's only hearing that. She's not listening to the stuff. So I felt like the teaching style in the episode was like, remember this. It was like a refresher, but she still isn't growing. That's why they had that moment after where they're like, they have sort of like the progress report, like how's it going, and they're just like, yeah, she's frustrated. We're not really getting anywhere yet. So they haven't really, I don't think, moved beyond where they were. And that, I think,
if she moves a cup in a day, do the people who bitch about Rey learning the Force too quickly, are they gonna also bitch about this one? Like, what's an appropriate time to learn the Force? A day or 15 years when you're a little kid in the Jedi Temple? Which one?
Well, that's because they have a fundamental misunderstanding between the difference between like Sabine and Rey. Rey's fucking like really, really like the real deal. Sabine isn't, but they think that Rey is supposed to be like Sabine because chicks are weak. That's the subtext. And Anakin's fucking powerful because he's fucking killing kids and doing cool shit on lava planets, and he didn't cry. That was sweat. But you know what I mean? It's just like shit like that, kind of, I guess. I mean, that's my takeaway from all of that stuff. But I mean, I'm guessing that we will see her get past it. And I'm kind of wondering if Sabine may get past her hangups and do the connection once Ezra's found. like maybe Ezra's the teacher that she needs and not Ahsoka. Maybe that's like the problem. Maybe they're not really a good fit, that kind of thing or something. It's possible. Right. This guy, Jesus, a Rey apologist. I don't give a fuck if Rey is good or bad. The fucking point is it's called dramatic conceit. Yeah, called dramatic conceit. I honestly, if I had a trilogy of watching a bitch stare at a cup like this, I would just want to fucking not watch it anymore. So, but it is interesting here because this never happened. That's where it's interesting. And I think the scary part though is what's going to happen when she does start to develop it. Because that's where it just might get cringy and like, oh, okay, cool, man. Now it's just all now she's doing it all.
I thought the interesting thing
it's a difficult place it falls into, but yeah.
Because she uses anger a little bit right in the fight. And I thought with the cup, it would have been interesting if she got frustrated and moved it and then stopped herself or something. You know what I mean? Just like, it's like, I can do it. I can just do it the wrong way. Like would have been an interesting alternate take too, but.
And I like the idea though, that because she has this like Mandalorian cheat code, this Mandalorian cheat code power up of having been raised there, she's sort of like not starting from the first step, but that's actually hindering her at the same time. That's kind of what I think that they're kind of going for too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when it's like when people who use Midjourney decide to learn how to draw.
Right.
And then they're like, I'm not drawing like you right away. I don't understand what the thing is.
Yeah. I took guitar lessons today and somebody was on their first day of guitar lessons. They would probably be ahead of me on guitar lesson day one, even though I could do a lot on guitar. You know what I mean? And I kind of think that's sort of the idea that they're going for on that one.
Right.
But I will say too, that red planet was visually stunning. I mean, that was reminded me of Crate, but it held its own. It felt like it was the same galaxy that made Crate, from the episode 8 planet, the red planet with the white sand.
And it didn't feel
like it's at the same time stunning.
It felt unique too, like it didn't feel like a place you've been to. So yeah, it feels of the universe, but not, it's Tatooine Part 4.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, well, it's like the thing you have to understand is like Tatooine is like Death Valley, but this is Texas. It was like, shut the fuck up. That kind of, it didn't feel like that. It was like, this is actually a very, very new environment we haven't seen before. And it looks really good.
Every time we say Texas, Max looks around like, what? Someone say something?
Max is like, where is Max? But no, but I mean, like overall, like the thing about Filoni doing the thing I like about Filoni doing Star Wars that I think is oftentimes underappreciated because they're just like, he understands my Anakin, and I'm like, no, I think that his visuals are really good. And when you look at the visuals in this show so far compared to the other shows, once again, we have consistency across the board. And I don't feel like all of a sudden something just like dropped the ball super hard. Yeah, some of the environments look Disney Plus-y. You can tell it's the volume and shit like that. I'm not saying that. That's always that's always going to our adult eyes are always going to know that. Unless you're a child, it's you're going to see it because
I always say to me it's OT scale, and I'll take OT scale over fucking special edition scale, which is kind of a pointless.
No,
look, I made it really big, but what did you change? Nothing, just made it big. Okay, but
which is why you shouldn't be complaining about it. No, okay, sorry.
What I appreciate more is the not trying to make irreverent jokes for no reason. Like the jokes are coming from the situation, not from like, oh my god, I'm gonna act really weird. I'm a fish guy, like that kind of stuff. Like the Fabs. Yeah. I'm not a fan of Favreau's humor, man. Like I've become more and more critical over the last 2 years, Jason. Like, so we're not. I don't feel we're gonna get, not to pick on Lizzo, but you know what I mean. Like we're not gonna get that Lizzo out of nowhere.
Yeah, who cares?
Oh right, yeah, right. Because I forgot that.
I don't even care about that. Fuck the fucker for that. Fuck her for being the worst episode of Star Wars ever made. How about that?
I like Jack. I just don't like that episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like Jack Black too. But fuck him in Star Wars. To get the fuck out of Star Wars, Jack Black. Get out of here. Go home.
Wouldn't it be great if he was Thrawn? Thrawn turns around. He's thin from behind, but when he turns around, he's big. He's fat Jack Black.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, this was your transitional episode from how do we get to from A to C, and this was the B, and it was good though. A lot of times in Star Wars episodes like this is the part that really flounders and is like very frustrating, and you have to wait the whole other week until you get to the meat, and that wasn't this one. This one was all of the stuff about getting to that new place was cool, and I was surprised when we got to the Eye of Sion exactly how big it was, that we finally got to see that thing's a giant fucking like space station, practically a hyperspace space station. And I knew
in
it
the
was
trailer
bigger.
we thought that bridge might have been the Chimera or something, but no, it's the Eye of Sion bridge, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like there was times when it just wasn't clear, like if Ahsoka's ship was going to fly into that ring and use it itself, like if it was for her and stuff, like but now we can see that thing is fucking giant. So
did she leave her sabers out in space?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think she turned them off. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she like turned them off, but yeah. That's something else.
She can't fly in space like Leia can, huh? I guess she can't.
No. Yeah, he did that in the Clone Wars, like early on. He did like the little bubble helmets out in space fight and everything like that with Ahsoka, and so it was nice to see like that kind of Clone Wars callback, but to see like it in live action. Now, like I said, I could have used that pushed way further. Like there was a lot that could have been done with that kind of thing.
It's wire work on a set.
And it's and it's like, but I still liked it. It was unexpected when it happened, and it was fun. So
it was, and tonally it wasn't off the mark. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I think tone can save you with a limited budget. If you can maintain the tone, you don't need an escalating budget to ramp up the the kerpows and the kersplats and the blah blah blah. So the tension's kept well at that point.
Yeah. And Kiner's music was on again. The music is consistently very good, like really good, and that means a lot to me. I mean, like I know we're picking on Mando 3. I like the overall gist of Mando 3. It felt like 80s fucking Beastmaster version of Star Wars or something. And there's like down the road, I think I'll appreciate the flavor that it offered when there's a lot of more Star Wars out there. I'll be like, that was strange, and I kind of appreciate it, but also super clunky, very fucking weird. I don't think it's how they wanted it to come out necessarily. And but this right here is very consistent Star Wars. I watched the first 2 episodes going into the third one while I had dinner. I was like, watched 1 and 2 again, and still slow as fuck. But fine, it was still good. And then this felt like it did feel like a build, which is what I wanted and I was afraid wouldn't happen. But it does build into this episode. The momentum does get rolling. I feel like editorial choices in the first 2 are taking into consideration what's to follow, and that's definitely good. It feels a little bit more cinematic when you're just watching the whole thing, or when you watch all 3 episodes like in a row. It feels cinematic, and I appreciated that. So I kind of felt like I watched like a mini Star Wars movie before or by the time this episode was done. So
I haven't seen any fan film reach this stuff. You know what I mean? So
I was bitching about that to Ben yesterday. I was like, where is all this digital democratization? Like remember when we were kids and Kids came out with Rosario Dawson in it, and like Kids was just like, where the fuck did that come? But where's the Kids of 2023? Like, where are the people making this shit? Like, it should just be on YouTube. And if it is, I don't know, find it. But it's
on TikTok making grommet shake videos.
Yeah,
like that's distracting.
Yeah,
you know that thing Lucas said he wanted to do, make experimental film. That's what happened. They all went off and did experimental film.
It turns out Lucas is actually his avatar is like a 12-year-old TikToker. That's what he's been doing all day.
YouTube wouldn't reward something that's well crafted. Because it would take too long to make. It only rewards things that are made quickly and repeated over and over. The problem is algorithms. We never factored in, like engagement algorithms deciding.
Yeah, but if somebody made a really good
quality.
fucking movie, the film sites would cover it. Like if it would if people were making independent films. I mean, but
I
once
don't know,
again,
man, dude. Not a lot. Like, I mean, I just watched the Three Musketeers French film. No one's covering that thing, and it's pretty dope, dude.
oh, okay.
Like,
yeah,
so
I wanted to see this. It's a two-parter, right? It's a 1 part 1 and part 2.
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, I
good,
wanted to
dude.
see that. Yeah, I didn't even. I
Yeah.
forgot that was even coming out.
Yeah, I can send it to you if you want it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a buddy who bought it in France, so don't worry about it.
Will we see underwater scenes next week? Well, that's what somebody on Reddit is saying. The general gist of what they were saying, I don't think was disproven this week. And so, I'm not against what they said as being wrong or right. It seems like it's probably right. They said one thing that I won't comment on. That was like, oh shit. Okay, I think it's right. So I'm guessing that's where it will go. At the same time, I remember somebody saying something like, according to what I saw of that, they were like there's this underwater thing, and then they were like, "Oh, you're getting close" or some shit. I can't remember how it went, but if I'm remembering this correctly, could it have been the wire work in the space thing here? I don't know, but I don't remember all the context for it. So, yeah, but
wire work subbing for underwater never works, by the way. Like,
okay, well, I'm not saying
that
that's
on, like,
what. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if that's what it is, but I mean, you have Ahsoka in an airtight space suit.
What you mean.
Does that fit with Ahsoka in an underwater swimming
I want to
suit?
see her get
I don't know.
helmet over his tentacles really quick. How does that? I want to see that video. Shove it in room like tentacle. 1 second.
Yeah. I don't know if I can put comments. Revenge guys, all the main point about Sabine is that you don't need to be a Force user to be a Jedi, just like real life us. But yeah, that's I think the more like subtext of it though is what Filoni's always said is over and over again. If we go back to those comments, he used to say, like, Han Solo uses the Force. It's just not the same and with the same aptitude as Luke Skywalker. And
right, but if Han Solo wants to get into a one-on-one fight with Vader, he better learn to use the Force. The difference, Sabine is picking fights with Force users, right? Like,
yeah, but Han Solo also shot down Darth Vader, so there's that too.
He shot at Darth Vader, and
he freaking
with his hand.
Yahoo kid, and then it goes around. Yeah,
but
you see
from
what I'm
behind,
saying,
right?
But that's his Rob. That's literally his superpower is space. You're going like his superpower, which is space, doesn't count. Come on.
But I thought his superpower was understanding Wookiees.
That's another one. That counts.
Okay.
Yeah, that counts. I mean,
putting up with the smell.
But
what they fucking reek like.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like, I mean, I hate to overthink it because it just gets so stupid and nerdy when you do. But it's like, if the Force was real like that, then it would be a spectrum. It wouldn't be you have it or you don't. It would be a spectrum of people who barely have it to the people that are just way too into it, like little Palpatine.
Think about it like cooking. Some people can naturally just put stuff on the stove, and some people can do it. What others have to go learn and train. Some you can teach them forever and they still burn water. Like, you don't know why that works, but it's true.
Yeah. But I gotta say, like, the criticism that you've put forth of, like, what's Ahsoka's deal, and I'm like, as this has gone on now, 3 episodes in, Ahsoka's only thing here, her character trait is just that she's fucking teaching this kid some shit. It doesn't seem like, and it doesn't, and it doesn't seem like it seems like she wants it to happen, but it doesn't seem like she's convinced it will either, which is obviously like part of the problem probably with the pupil. You know what I'm saying? Why they're not getting past this hump that they're stuck at, And
look, I'm just telling you, someone who's watching the show, I'm taking the show as it's presenting itself. You know what? I was thinking about this today while I was making dinner, because listen to Vader's Lair, because Meg shows up, and I'm like, hey, all the nerds are listening to this guy geek out. He's a nice dude. So
he's a nice dude.
And he doesn't know who I am. So, he thinks I'm just like a normie. So I go, everyone on the Filoni hype train, choo choo. And like, he jumps in on it like it's real. And I'm like, this is so sweet.
He's like, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, he
I'm
does
on
that
it.
exactly.
Choo-choo.
Like, yeah, choo choo. He did exactly that. And I'm like, I love this. This is great. So like, it's but I was thinking like, I experienced Star Wars in the way that Qui-Gon tells to Anakin to experience the moment. You know what I mean? Like there's a force where you're like all the Jedi, like they're looking at the past, they're trying to predict the future. That's Star Wars fandom. I'm experiencing it in the moment as it's presenting itself. I bring nothing before and nothing after to it, just what it's presenting. And as it's presenting itself, I don't even see that she wants to do any of this. She's just sort of like, well, if this kid wants to do something, I don't see her like, hey, next time this chick comes over to gut you, here's how you fucking protect yourself. You know what I mean? like because she's like, we just figure it out when you want to figure it out. Like, there's a ticking clock. They're coming after us. Like,
yeah. I would make my Jedi, if I were writing Star Wars, I would have it where like the guy just can't focus. He tries, he can't, but when he takes a shot, he can focus. It's like Adderall. He's able just to do it now. And so I would do real drunken Jedi. It'd be a good time.
Revenge guy goes, she's supposed to be herself, not someone she's not. Well, then that might be dead. Dead might be who she's supposed to be. Like, she got gutted last time. Let me teach you how to protect yourself. Like Miyagi doesn't go, hey, Daniel, son, you'll learn it when you learn it. Like, he's like, you better learn this shit. True. Do it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like Ahsoka's thing has kind of been like she's the dude. She's like, I just go where the world takes me, man. That's been like her whole thing. And I think she's been that like leaf blowing in the wind kind of attitude and living on her ship and shit. But I think that's about to change because she's been aimless without a quest. She's a knight without a quest is kind of where they've been. And I think all of the main characters, like Hera wants to find Ezra, but she's got her hands tied. Like the Republic brass aren't letting it happen. They're even like chastising her for it. And so I'm guessing now that they're starting to get the clues that they're looking for. The Republic's still going to be full of shit and stupid, but everybody else is going to pull it together. And then I think that's when maybe it will step up a little bit more in terms of like Ahsoka and who she is and what she wants. Because that's kind of like right now, I guess the only thing, what do we have? What does Ahsoka want right now? She wants Sabine to succeed. She doesn't seem to want anything for herself. She wants to find Ezra. She wants Sabine to succeed. And she wants to stop Thrawn. And that's kind of her plight at this time. And then I think they all kind of share that same
yeah, but those are those are plotty things. They're not human.
Yeah.
Things.
No, they're not. I mean, I think wanting your people to succeed can be considered a human thing, but it's not a very good one. It's not a very good one. Most people never teach people how to set their fucking clock. Most people don't know how to teach. So it's not something that's necessarily relatable for a lot of people, I think. But yeah, we'll have to see, like, if it opens up more or not. I liked her more in this episode than I did in the first two. In this one, I think when she's doing stuff, then she's more affable than when there's nothing to do and they're standing around and their arms are crossed. That's what I kind of want to be like, get the fuck out of here, go do something. You know what I mean?
It's like Punky Brewster grew up and you hate her, right? Like,
yeah, it's like, come on, Punky.
Punky.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, I have like a lot more faith in the show after this one than I did on the first two. This is where I thought it would drop if it was likely going to, and it didn't. And then next week, I think we end up at the precipice of going to the new place, either going to the new place and ending up there or launching off into it. And obviously, we're going to see the fight on the surface now. We had the fight, in the fight in the stars, Rob. They fought in the stars. I'm waiting
to see what new it's going to add. I just keep seeing it referencing itself or Clone Wars or Star Wars. I'm waiting to see like the climb bit in Andor, we've never seen that before, right? Like in Star Wars, that whole sequence with the heist, the escape, climb, the asteroid field, that's something totally. I'm waiting to see this show have that moment. Right now, I just see it referencing like its member berries, like
yeah. Well, I mean, its spacewalk was kind of almost that, but I would call that like a very, very mini one at best. You know,
it didn't become a big enough of a sequence for me for it
yeah.
to.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly.
I can see in a movie
it was cool,
where
but it
like
feels a little more
you're
action figure excusey than it did. You know, like here's
under
the
a different director, right? And
Mhm.
under a different time crunch in a film where they're getting the shit kicked out of them, everything's blown up, and then finally the Jedi is like, I'll step outside, and like step outside,
Yeah.
right? And then the music goes, and then I can see it with director where the cameras are right, and it's like all quiet, and then you know,
Yeah.
like, and I could see that being
You just did
built
the
up.
Terminator music. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can see James Cameron doing it, and you fucking buying it. Like when Arnold goes, when he steps outside, he goes, "Don't kill, I'll trust me," right? And then he goes downstairs and kills all his fucking, doesn't kill the cops, but just demobilizes them. So like, it's just like,
I wanted more with the sabers. I wanted to see her take a ship down with the saber. I wanted her to deflect lasers into other ships and all of that. You know, there's a sequence waiting to be done there for sure. That wasn't done here, but it was fun that they at least. I think they did what they could. Is my point, and I appreciate that. You know what I mean? It could have just been like, oh no, the ship works now. Bye. You know, and instead they like at least
she's on the hood and it just takes off without her.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and then the you know, like the like we got the Mon Mothma part with them saying basically we're not going to help you, and leaving them on their own, and we saw, you know, and that was another one of those moments where I thought Hera's actual like lines to them was actually pretty good. Like the case that she made was good, but also a lot on the table with that is like she's referencing things that are from the other shows once again. And so that's another moment where it's made a hell of a lot better if you watch the shows, if you know what she's referencing anyways, if you know of it. And like Thrawn takes like the family, they have these things that Twi'lek's called Kalakiris, and Thrawn just fucking like wipes them out, like fucking takes their shit, like collects it, you know, studies them and all that kind of stuff. And like, so she's like referencing like all of these little things with him that I appreciated having seen all of that stuff. And I was curious, but I did feel like the performance from Winstead in that moment was good enough that it probably doesn't matter. I think people probably understood it.
The line she tells the little rich kid, you know what I mean, is like my favorite bit in the episode, where she's like, did you fight in the war? No, I sat that one out, waited to see who came out on top, huh? And it was the silence, the timing and the editing was good. There was an uncomfortable silence, and that because he wasn't denying it, right? So
yeah,
but like freaking god damn it, you set me off on the wrong path. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is I've had some people in the last couple of days go, you know, Rob, you can just watch the damn cartoons. I don't see what the issue is. You like animation. I'm like, I do like animation. I don't like that animation, but that's not why I'm not watching it. You know, think about this, Jason. When I went to go see Rogue One, I had just got done listening to the audiobook Catalyst, right? And Catalyst ends right where Rogue One picks up. Literally, you know, like Rogue One picks up right where the book was. So I went in there going like, oh shit, tension right from the beginning for me, you know? And I remember bringing up, did you read Catalyst? And they're like, well, no, I don't really have to. Star Wars fans, the same ones, are telling me I shouldn't have to read a Star Wars book before I go see the movie to be able to know that there's tension before the film. Well, the whole movie doesn't reference the book. The opening does. You know, imagine if the whole movie was just telling you or referencing things from the book. That's kind of the problem. You know, like,
but no, I disagree. It's a problem though. Because I don't think it's
definitely
it's an enhancement for fans in this instance. And
it's definitely a problem, I think, for people to be like telling me one thing while doing the other. You know what I'm saying?
The opening, I think that the biggest problem it had though was in the previous episodes when Sabine being a Jedi is a revelation, but you'd have no fucking idea if nobody told you. You know, it's in the third episode here that it's made really clear. But I also think that when you get down to it, to like that normal person though, who just was like, what the fuck? 2 weeks ago or last week, when they see this now, I don't think they are going to bother to put it together or to like understand it. I think it's just gonna be like, whatever, nerd shit, I'll move on.
All these Force users were lying around during the OT, and only one, only Luke could do it.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, no, I mean, like Sabine is not that, and then Ezra's out. So the ones who would help Luke are not none of those guys who have those abilities would help Luke, and then Marrok would likely have been hunting Luke we don't know what his backstory is, but he would have hunted Luke if. But I'm gonna imagine that Darth Vader said, "Don't hunt Luke." Like, don't do it, because he wouldn't want to risk them successfully killing him or something, maybe.
Do you think they could have just hired Balin to go in there and take out Palpatine?
That would have been cheaper, Yeah.
I wonder. Don't worry, some Marvel comic will do it, right? So we'll get that stupid answer one way or the other.
I wonder if that guy who DM'd me 15 times that Marrok is Ezra Bridger, if you heard him speak in this episode and went, oh, I guess not.
Right. Well, he talks like Tron, right? Robert.
As a wish.
Yeah.
I know. And then the other thing that they keep going on about is because it's Sam Witwer. What?
Rinsler. He reminds me of Rinsler.
No, but
Tron. Remember Tron Legacy?
Yeah. But
Sam Rinsler.
No, Sam Witwer plays the part.
Oh, okay.
And then everybody's like, that means it's the Star Killer. It's like, he's played like 40 fucking people in Star Wars cartoons and stuff by now. Sam Witwer is just like Marrok. Guys, God, I hate to break it to you. He's just fucking Marrok at the end of the day, probably. Anyways, but yeah.
Do you think they have to bust Marrok out of the insane asylum before their missions every episode too? Like he gets recaptured by the rebellion, and then Hottie has to go break him out before.
For as like down as I was on the appearance of the film slate at the moment, as I was watching this, I was just like thinking, I was just like, it's going to be wildly successful if like Sabine ends up in Luke's Jedi Academy and Ezra Bridger and that little kid and the Fallen Order
kills them all.
No, and Fallen Order, the Fallen Order characters, Marin, if she becomes a Jedi and something from the Night Sister stuff, if all of those people, like when you get down to it, like we always imagine Luke's Jedi Order and it's a bunch of random no names. But what if when it happens, it's not? What if when it happens, it's a bunch of characters that have been seeded throughout all of this stuff over the last decade? If so, when that does happen, Luke's Jedi Order becomes sort of a giant sort of Avengers-y kind of thing. Where
then they all become the Knights of Ren, right?
Yeah, right. Well, no, remember, you have 30 years though of that existing.
Oh,
and some of them, so the humans would naturally, like Ezra Bridger may naturally just a fucking diet of diabetes by the time we get to the episode 7. It's possible,
I'm drinking blue milk.
Too much.
Luke got him up. Luke taught him how to milk it. Jason was learning how to milk, or Ezra learned how to milk it himself, and
then there's another guy and his name is Darth Diabetes, and they're like, that's him. I know that's him. I know
they can heal you with everything, but diabetes is something that they still can't get around in the Star Wars universe.
But you can't.
Lucas won't let you.
George Lucas couldn't, so he's like, neither can they. Neither can you, Han Solo.
Now you know the secret sauce, Jason. That's the trick. That's what's the only rule that's written in that book in the tree is you are gonna get diabetes. Yeah.
No, but I mean, yeah, if it, and Ahsoka herself too. Because Ahsoka walks away from, like, when she meets Luke, she's like, I can't train this Grogu kid. I ain't doing it. It's not for me. I can't do it. And
he eats frogs.
He's got
alive.
Yeah, he eats rocks. He's special. He's weird. But Bespin, you want on? Let me know if you do. But anyways, where I'm going with this is is that it like all of this may be building up to something that we get in that Filoni film. Like these are things that could come to fruition in that Filoni movie. And and if it did, that would be pretty big. Or at least it could be. And it would make Luke's first like Jedi Academy stuff a lot more fascinating and fun with someone with like these established characters, and obviously maybe even characters that will still be established. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do, but excuse me, but why wouldn't
and then the Mando saves them all, right? He comes in at the end and saves them.
Excuse me. Well, and then people, I mean, because if you think about it though, if like Luke Skywalker was to start a Jedi Order and Ahsoka joins it, she kind of like she fucking skips over him a bit and becomes like the Mace Windu of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think know if Luke would be the head honcho in that way, and how that would go. I guess it would be a council in the end. Maybe when you start a Jedi Order, do you start as a council? Do you just automatically get on the council if you're like the first 12? I think that makes sense. I think that seems fair. Founder's badge.
Only those who starred in Quentin Tarantino films get to be on the Jedi Council. So Mace and Ahsoka, yes.
But yeah, and Dan points out Ahsoka, Cal, Gunji, Starkiller, Ezra, Marin, and the rest of the teacher at Luke's Academy. Yeah, I mean, no, and not Rey's, because they would, like I said, most of them would be dead by the time we get to Raytown. Because it's like about 20 to 29 to 35 years. I can't remember what it ends up being in the end, but a lot. Oh man, Daniel says, I can't pull up any comments. Okay, I can. Big Mac and me. Have you seen those ads for McDonald's where they're showing all of the films that McDonald's has been in? Like, this cup has been in, it's like all these like venerable movies. And I'm like, where's Mac and me, you motherfucker? You paid for that, McDonald's. That's your movie.
Nothing
you
gets bigger
bitch.
than Mac and me.
Yeah. Do not. Yeah, you can't leave Mac and me off that fucking list, McDonald's. We remember.
The younger folks don't understand. That changed the way I saw McDonald's. Like when I went into McDonald's, I was like, when they all gonna dance?
The younger folks know the meme. My kids knew the meme of the kid in the wheelchair going out the side and falling into the water, and then the aliens going, Blue. That's from Mac
But the dance off at McDonald's.
The dance off, yeah. All the tables just disappear and they're just like fucking dancing and stuff.
Yeah,
the sister's like, I work at McDonald's now. I'll see you guys later. She's like a full McDonald's outfit, and it's like it's pretty egregious. But anyways, sorry, it's been on my mind. It's been on my mind for a while. But
you need more hobbies.
I know, Mac and me. I'm still like, oh fuck you! Don't even get me started on Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, you guys. But
hey,
anyways,
I had to read the novelization before I read, because I couldn't see the movie. My dad wouldn't take me, so I got the book, the Superman 4 book at the book fair, and I was mad that there were scenes in the book that were better than they were in the movie. I'm like, what? The movie doesn't even make any sense compared. Look, they're not great, but the book makes more sense than the movie. Put it that way.
Well, yeah. I remember 7-Eleven had the cups for Superman 4, and I was like, I have to go get one because collectible cups are really rare and amazing. Mike, thank you for the $2 super chat and for being a channel member, dude. Appreciate it a lot. He says, Sabine used the Force to unlock the map and fly. I'm going to go with, I don't know if she used it to unlock the map as much as it was just like hacking skills. I don't know. On that one, I'm not sure. The flying one, I feel like there was a time in that. I only watched it once. I could be wrong, but there was like the drama was in Ahsoka was making it into a lesson, and Sabine was just like, let me kill these people. And then finally they stopped the lesson, and she uses her just natural warrior ability and then does it. I felt like the Mandalorian killed those things, not the Padawan. That was my reading.
She wasn't using the Force. She was,
I felt like that was like, okay, we're gonna do it your way now, and your way was not the Padawan way, right? That's what
what I wanted her to do was to put on one vision in her little cassette tape, right, and then Doug Masters her way through this shit, which would be an excellent fan edit of that scene.
I'm tuned down, but Sing it, Rob.
That's right.
Come on, Rob.
All right.
All right.
Fried chicken. Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. No, stop saying fried chicken, Filoni. God, he does this until we get it for him. He does this until we get it for him. He won't stop.
Jason, you feel that? Yeah. That's a there's some virgins in the forest.
No, it's virgins. It's virgins, Filoni. God, it's so creepy sometimes. And then Quentin, thank you for the super chat, bud. Quentin says, "Hey there, silly." I think. Wait, is that Filoni again? Hey there, silly.
Filoni doesn't spend money. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he did take the whole.
Everything comes out of petty cash.
He took him out to In and Out when they got canceled. He was like, "We're going to In and Out, guys."
Yeah,
we got money.
Literally,
we might have got jobs.
It's cheaper than 7-Eleven. Like In and Out. Like seriously,
kind of is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I take the kids to 7-Eleven. I take the kids to In and Out. I pretty much end up at $20. So, Aria says 9 out of 10. So Aria loved it. I liked it too. I mean, just to be completely, when I say critical, I don't mean it like in a bad way, but to be critical, the weakness of the episode was the Gunnerport sequence from A New Hope is something that defines Star Wars, and like you're doing a cover of it, and it's just not as good. It's my one vision versus Queen's one vision. It's not as good at all, but it's still pretty fucking good because it's like still the same song. And so that's where I'm like, yeah, that was good. But then also like, so but I'm not mad about things that like remix Star Wars. Also the whole thing, like where she like literally says Luke Skywalker's lines verbatim. I was like, you should have rewritten it a little bit. That's my like critique. That's the kind of shit where
it's
that
too
I can't help but
my
it's
biggest critique.
Yeah, it's the same fucking like line. It was the same fucking line. Like that's. Yeah. And you could obviously fans like references. Filoni understands this and likes it himself, I guess. And so that's where I was like, yeah. But thank God that Andor is what makes all of this go down well for me. And I hope they realize how much Andor was worth it. How much it, you know what I mean? Like how it works. So
I hope our normie fans do. I don't think they realize.
Like Aria says,
Aria
says 9 out of 10, and Maria 3 out of 10. Maria's a tough customer on this one. Tough customer on that one. So
I told you this is gonna fall. This series is going to fall 50-50 on people, and that has nothing to do with the quality of it. Mm-hmm. It's partly because you're coming off some lackluster and some great Star Wars, and what is this? And it's one of those things that's trying to be karate on both sides. It's for the fans, but it's also for everyone. And it's just like, I still don't know what I know what Filoni's voice is because I do the voice, but I don't know what his Star Wars voice is. Like, and I feel there isn't one because I've told you before, my critique of his work as an artist is that he borrows from things but doesn't carry over the experience that helped the original artist create the thing they created. He borrows surface level things. He doesn't grab the meaning that inspired the thing. That is lost.
So what Rob is saying is it's like you need that IP to get choked out a little bit because it could come that much further if it was David Carradine. Like it needs to be in the closet with the belt. That's what you're saying? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Man, sometimes you could choke a dude out right at a board meeting on the Death Star right in front of everyone. Just get off on it.
I mean,
did you think he coughed up an egg originally? Did you think that was an egg when you were a kid?
Realistically, Rob, somebody watched that scene and got horny when the first time they saw it and realized something about themselves when Darth Vader was choking Madi.
I got hungry because I thought he coughed up an egg. And I was like, did he just eat breakfast? Like, because when he hacks, I'm like, he coughed up an egg. Like, wow, you can do that? A whole egg.
Aria says, Filoni took a page out of Lucas's book about everyone being force sensitive. Super nice touch. Is this a Sabine has to accept herself not being force sensitive? She doesn't become one, right? Yeah, I don't.
Self-confidence. It's a confidence game.
It's a confidence issue. That's why Hyung's comments are hurting her. she's seen like Ezra fucking do amazing things and talk to space whales and shit. And she's like, oh, you know, she's like, Leia, that's a power I can never have. That's like, that's where she's at with this one. In a weird way, this is almost like what was Princess Leia's journey before she starts to get her shit together or whatever. I think this, and then she quits, obviously, but I think that's where it's sort of going. And but I honestly could see it going either way. She may never lift a cup in the whole series, or she might. But I think that it, like, kind of like what Revenge Guy was basically alluding to earlier, is that what they want is, or what Ahsoka wants, are people that exemplify what a Jedi really is. It's not about power. It's never been about power. That's the dark side kind of thing. Yeah, character means a hell of a lot more. The ability to say when you're wrong and to make things right and that kind of stuff. Like, that's, I think Ahsoka looked at the Jedi Order when it had zero integrity, and so she's looking at it from the place of somebody who she wants people who have integrity and strong moral character. And you know, and she's knows Sabine for years and believes in her, but also gets real about it, and for a time doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that that's kind of where we're at with it, maybe. At the moment, that's my reading of it based off of the evidence that Filoni's given on screen so far. So I'm trying to put James's comment up, but the computer is being very fucking fickle right now. Thank you for the $5 super chat, James. James says, Rob's sounding like a white chick that has crystals and blames everything on Mercury and retrograde.
I got a comment that I could say offline, because online it's gonna make me seem like an asshole. But let's just say James dates one time outside of his own kind, and then he can make fun of everyone else's race, right? What? Brought out my race. I'm talking about my race, my ethnicity.
Race is a construct. It's not even real.
No, but I do think, like, we're talking about creators, like, the dude writes anime. He's a fucking artist. So it's like, when I see him borrowing from Miyazaki, but like, you're just borrowing a look, I'm like, you're missing. And that's the problem I had with Tales of the Jedi. I know you guys all liked it, but I'm like, it's just missing. I'm a devout student of Miyazaki. Miyazaki hates Miyazaki. Like, you got to understand, like, even he's unhappy with what.
But also there's like one piece of the equation that is missing, that I agree with you that Filoni hasn't cracked, but also makes it, he's not saying, look, I saw Miyazaki, I know how to do it, I can meet Dave Filoni. He's trying to Star Warsify. He's trying to Star Warsify it. And how do you do that is something that they haven't figured out. That's what he's trying to figure out. That's sort of the experiment. But also, I'm with you though. Like, I don't think it's succeeded though either. You know, I don't think it's succeeded.
I'll give you an example in the way they train artists in LA, like a Cal Arts and a Pasadena Art Center and stuff, and at Nomon these days, if they do hand drawing courses, I don't know if they do anymore. I think it's more technical, but they teach artists and animation students how to do gesturals, and gesturals are about action lines, right? So they spend a lot of time going out there drawing people, and then they it's fine. Come on the show, James. Stop being a fucking chat voice. So but in America, the problem with it is that they bring up nude models, and they get all these figures that, like, they do these poses and they do swooshes, and it's very broad. And you see it like in Disney animation when characters are really broadly acting, but that's not actually how humans move. Miyazaki would tell you, go actually watch how a baby moves. Go watch how people act. Like, if you're going to do gesturals, gesture the old lady who's actually like going to the store down the street and gets on the train and picks up her things, like actually everyday life.
Pick up a live baby and throw it in the pool and watch it swim. Right?
You've been watching Michael Jackson videos again? So like,
remember that?
No, I know you, but his sister did.
Come as you are. Come as you are. Throw that little baby in there. You want that $1? That baby wanted that $1.
We all wanted to hang out with LaToya in 1981, right? So like, who didn't? But that's the thing. Like, there is a mentality, but it's a mentality that breeds more exaggerated animation. It doesn't capture life. And I think that's where American animation falls short, in my opinion. Even if you have crazy things like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has a lot of crazy stuff in it, but the woman who wrote and drew that manga was raised on a farm. So there's a lesson about equivalent exchange that you know, life will give life, right? And if you unjustly try to take back from life, you try to break that balance, resurrect the dead, it's going to take a piece of you permanent. You can't come back from that. They call it taboo.
Yeah.
And that's an important, like, I get goosebumps thinking about it because it's not an animation thing, it's a real life thing. And that's what I feel the Ochi, because Lucas had created Star Wars coming off of THX 113 and American Graffiti, I felt like he was still in that mindset, right? Like that mindset for me and him go away somewhere after the divorce. Like it becomes something else. It becomes plotty,
Yeah.
or it
Well,
becomes
yeah.
surfacey.
I think what happened, in my opinion, if you want to know it, about with Lucas, is he's a workaholic. Marsha's like, stop working, and he can't. But when he's there, he's in the fucking zone, and he hasn't put it down yet, and everything's fucking good. Then when he does, then he's overthinking at that point, and everything is like overly complex. He has too much time to like write his first draft and everything.
Or he
He's not just
doesn't
like a
live enough
workhorse.
life
And
to bring more life. Like his life has been work. So now he's bringing work to the experience table, not
yeah,
life to the experience table. Does that make
yeah,
sense? Like
yeah, for
that's the
sure.
problem. You know, and
Yeah.
so like go watch the guys, watch the NHK Miyazaki. It's for free. If you're NHK Miyazaki, you can see it's for free. This one guy has been documenting that studio for like 15 years. So all the
Yeah.
documentaries you've seen on Miyazaki is actually one dude, right? And this one chronicles from the end of how's moving castle to through the fish one, the little fish
There's
kid,
that little, the
and
Grogu one. No, I'm kidding.
and then when he ends up starting, and then when the Force Awakens, it kind of goes through the Force Awakens, you know, like it goes through a period of time. But you can see how like when he's not making stuff, like every day the guy's taking out, he puts like goats on his roof, like fake goats and stuff, and like he walks, and like, I don't know, there's just some other part of life that Filoni's missing. And look, man, I know he's going to In-N-Out and shit, and he's going to Comic Cons, but I don't know if he's like, you know, he's not zenning, you know, like there needs to be, I think, if you're going to borrow from that, like a real zen, not this fake Tales of Power zen. And I feel like
Yeah.
when we're entering the Tales of Power stuff,
Well,
you know, I'm
no,
like,
that's
well,
what you're saying. Like I've talked to Filoni a few times, and I would say I think his philosophy. This is my sense, though. Okay, this is my sense. I don't know if it is, but it's my sense of him is that he doesn't like to go too far into intellectual conversation because he feels that you keep things simple. I think that's always his. I think that's his philosophy is to like make it simple and then it'll be good and it'll read. I think that's
I get that.
something he picked up along the way, and I both appreciate that and despise it at the same time with him. I appreciate him for what he does and the way he does it, but I also know he's never going to deliver me everything I need. And that's why my movie boyfriend in Star Wars is Tony Gilroy. That's why I gave him the rose, you know, but
Also
that's
at the same time, I think that the mistake of that is you're assuming all the characters in the story are below your, I don't know, they can't be at the same intelligence level. Some characters are going to be, Luthen is at a different intelligence level than
yeah.
Andor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's evident. And Andor and Luthen are at different intelligence level as fucking the guy we love, who's the
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're
We're in
all
the
at different
theats. Yeah.
they're all at different intelligence levels, but that doesn't make them more or less threatening. Sometimes the less
No.
intelligence makes them even more threatening,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and then
Yeah, I've met that online.
so
Not even joking.
That's the human part I'm talking about, you know. And I'm using
Yeah.
Andor as an experience as an example because it's the most evident there,
Yeah.
you know. So
Brandon. Oh, sorry. I thought you were. Go ahead.
no, but I do think again, like to Jason, but Hu Yang, I'm not a fan of that name, but
Yeah, it's not a
so
good
like,
name.
I mean, look, David Tennant's great, so you know he's
Ooh,
you
touch my
know,
Yang. Jason, do you think Yang is in the Acolyte series? And like he should be. If they well, if they were if they were ever going to show young Jedi making their lightsabers, he would be. But based off of what we know from the show, I don't think so. I don't know why he would be. But it's possible he does exist.
He's alive.
And
He's
that's the other
never
thing. Is like I find it's kind of cool because like this Ahsoka series is playing into a film that's going to come out. So it's important, you know. It's not just an afterthought kind of thing. Let's just make up some shit and do it. This is going somewhere, thankfully. But you know, the Acolyte series is that's their serious show. That's the one that they're like about. They're about Acolyte. Acolyte is going to define the next era if things go their way in a lot of ways, then more the ways than we would think. It's going to be the Star Wars like series, and I think that it's going to spawn films. I was supposed to start with films.
I hope so. I wasn't impressed with what we saw, you know. But that doesn't mean much.
Yeah, what we saw was all rough and not finished.
By the way, folks, they are hiring. ILM put out on Threads and Blue Sky and socials and shit that they're hiring for, was it in Mumbai and where else? One other place, San Francisco. I think like a United States and or Australia, I can't remember, and like India's are hiring for specifically for the Acolyte productions right now, visual effects. So they're in post. You know, post is still continuing.
Yeah,
and they've ramped up. So if they're hiring, I mean, that's a good sign because if they're putting an open call, you know, like it means that it's not a minimal budget show, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be hiring new people. They would be hiring within their circle of friends. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can put up Ben's comments. Ben says, so Acolyte might turn into the main flagship show after the Mandalorian stuff is done. So this is my opinion. Is what's going to happen is the Mandalorian stuff is going to start to have to take somewhat of a backseat when we make the jump to the film to like screen. Like I don't think Dave Filoni is going to be filming Ahsoka season 3, you know, for instance, and making Star Wars films at the same time. I guess it could happen, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think the man he's a workhorse, but he's not that big of a workhorse. And so I doubt it. I do think Star that Acolyte, yeah. And I was talking. Okay, this sounds dumb. I was talking to somebody who knows somebody who has seen a ton of Acolyte dailies. Okay, I know
that is dumb. All right, Roka.
I know. No, but it sounds really fucking good. It does. It sounds really, really good. I think that's going to be so. The reason why I'm mentioning that is like this show right here, just, you know, doing what it does and being sort of hitting all of the fun moments that the animated shows did in live action, taking the animated content and elevating it in live action and doing it, you know, as perfectly as they can on Disney Plus. I think we're actually in a pretty good little era here for the Disney Plus stuff. We haven't liked everything, obviously, across the board. I don't think there's any kind of, you know, I don't think everybody agrees on like one thing here about what's good or bad. And, you know, we could take a sample of 5 of us and we're all going to say different things. But I do think that the next year is going to be slow, but good, like really, really good and really slow. And but I still, like I was saying earlier today, I still don't know how we end up getting the series and the shows to line up and come out at the same, like on the schedule. I don't see how we do. I'm very pessimistic. Like I'm not optimistic about it happening at all.
But I thought people wanted a break from everything.
People who I think I had 5 years of a break already, Rob.
It's all too much content. I want a break on all content, no new content.
Yeah,
for 5 years.
Yeah, it's just it's like that person can just not watch stuff for a while. That's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you hit that point, just don't watch. Just go read comic books or listen to records or something, and then go back to it when you feel like it. Like I've never really been that way with Star Wars, but I get that way about some things. Some things I really enjoy, and
These are
then
the
I
same people
kind
that
of
watch
get
football every year, and I'm like, really? You can't just take 5 years off? Do we need football every fucking year?
yeah.
Every year?
I feel like you watch a
You know?
season of it and you kind of have seen it all, for the most part.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I don't really. I guess I like fighting. I like watching mixed martial arts, but even that I haven't watched in a few years, honestly.
But those people
So
tap out. Like they have a short window individually, It's a little bit different.
yeah, it's true. But but anyways, 3 episodes in. Next week we will be mid-season on the show already. It went by really fast. And like I said, I always believed I've always, believed that. Well, let's put it this way. I said they would be going to a different part of the Star Wars galaxy. That's been confirmed. She's a witch. That's been confirmed. You know what I mean? The Ezra stuff, like all of that, Thrawn is that guy. Like all of the stuff that like I was hearing has been confirmed. There's always room for misinterpretation. I'm not so arrogant to say that couldn't be the case.
Those feet weren't a bigger deal.
Well, hold on, though, Rob.
You promised me feet.
This is important.
Okay.
But in all of that stuff from those solid sources was the first 4 episodes and the second 4 episodes. It's like part 1 and part 2. And the first one was like around the time of Mando 2, might be concurrent. Turns out it's not. It's the day after Mando 2, but you get the point. And then the next part goes into the other part of Mando, that timeline era. So with that said, I believe the next episode will be the end of chapter 1, and then we'll get to chapter 2 of this series. So kind of expect there to be a little bit of a climax in some way next week. Next week should be a big episode. It should be big. But I'll be right out, Penny. My daughter's here, so I gotta go, guys. But I think we've talked about it all. Anything else to say before we go, Rob?
Hey, look, overall, I'm enjoying the series. I don't know if I could recommend it. I can recommend it to someone who's like, I want to watch some Star Wars. Hey, you can watch this. You'll have a good time. It's not the kind of thing that's going to blow your mind. It's not the water cooler. Oh my God. Right. And by the way, I don't think everything should be.
No.
So by the way, I think that's called hot shotting, and it's a path of diminishing returns. You just want a solid, good Marvel show. Not everything needs to be tied in some grander fucking plan that's affecting 7 fucking other things, So yeah.
Well, no, I mean that's how I felt too. But this one right here is going to do that. Like we said, I believe this ends with Thrawn returning and all the bad guys, though. No, but but not every single thing about it has to be like, oh my God, now it's a Thrawn breadcrumb. Here it comes, you guys. Because then when he walks out, it'll be like, well, I'm here. I'm gonna be like, well, fucking okay, what now? What happens? Nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, Jason, we're gonna have Thrawn clones. It's gonna be a Thrawnsome. Know what I'm saying?
Oh,
it's gonna be a Thrawnsome. Y'all gonna have some Chiss ascendancies. Oh,
right.
I can't wait.
Stop knocking on my door. I'm serious. All right, I gotta go because these kids. I don't know if I'll do a show tomorrow. Probably won't, but I think we'll be back the day after tomorrow.
Thank God.
Yeah, because I think we did 2 today. I think we could take tomorrow off.
2.
Yeah, we did 2 today.
Go watch Meg, Star Wars Santa, and Vader's Lair. Take a break from
it. And when you go to Vader's Lair, say Filoni train, choo choo, and make it see if he'll do it.
Choo choo, like office linebacker Terry Tate, right? It's the greatest commercial of all time. Woo woo. Woo-hoo!
All right, Rob. I gotta go. The kids are having a rebellion out here. They're like one way out. They want in this room. So I'll talk to everybody in a while, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, Rob. I'll see everybody later. Bye, guys.